In this video, I'll be taking you through the steps of validating your housekeeping protein. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a previously created project, and I'm going to click on Create New Experiment. And from here, I'm going to also go into the housekeeping protein validation. And I want to talk a little bit about why we want to do this. So if you are using a housekeeping protein for doing your normalization, you need to validate that it is not being altered by your experimental conditions. And one way that you're able to do that is to use the revert stain in one of your channels and then target your housekeeping protein in another channel. So I'm going to click on housekeeping protein validation, and I'm going to also go to total protein stain, which is the revert. And I'm going to pull the images from the image gallery, but you can also bring them in over from a work area or zip files if need be. So when I click on image gallery here, I'm going to find the images that I need. And so I need this 4528 and 466. And I'm going to select those to bring into the experiment. So I'm going to click Start. And I'm going to give this a name. So this is revert and tubulin. And from here, I'm also going to type in revert and tubulin so I have those labeled correctly. And so now I need to set up my lane and boundary information. So I'm going to make this a little more visible by adjusting the minimum and maximum right there. And so then I'm going to draw lines just to the outside of my boundary. Now I have 13 lanes on here. And so what you're looking for is that the lines are going roughly through the middle of the lanes. I'm going to adjust my boundary just a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to click Next. Now I'm going to specify replicates on here. So in lanes 2, 3, and 4, I have replicate treatments. 5, 6, and 7, same. 7, 8, or 8, 9, and 10, and 11, 12, and 13, and I'm going to link those all together. So now I want to label these replicate groups. So these are Jurkat cell lysates, and these are untreated. I'm going to copy this information down to the next groups, and these have been treated with a toposide. All right, so I have all that information in there, and so now I'm going to go ahead and click on Next. So my first lane, this is my molecular weight marker. So then I can also add information about treatments. Or you can also add the amount of the drug that was added, the concentration, the dosage. But I'm going to go ahead and say treatments. And so for my controls, these are 0%. I have 33%, 66%, and then 100%. Click Next. Now, as in previous videos, whenever we're using revert, the molecular weights are not all that important over here, but we do have to select a marker and define a few bands so that we can move on to the next window. So we want to look to see that the boxes here are encompassing all of the signal from the revert, and it looks like it is. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Next. So then in my target, I'm going to adjust the boundary here just slightly. There we go. Go ahead and click on Done. And then Next. Now it does pull all the information from the previous tables that I had used. So there's nothing to edit here, so I'm going to click Next. For my molecular weight, I'm going to choose my molecular weight marker, which in this example is the Chameleon Duo 800. And then I'm going to add the band markers. Like that. And once those are all in place, I'll go ahead and click Done. And now I need to size and quantify my housekeeping protein, which in this case is tubulin. So I'm going to click Next, find bands. And so I'm going to move this into the correct location and then place my bands right there. Now, if need be, I can adjust the size and location of the bands, but it looks like everything was found correctly on here. So I'm going to click on Next. So then on these chart titles, I'm going to type in revert and tubulin. And so you can look at these and you can look at the standard deviations derived from the replicate groups on here, and to determine if your housekeeping protein is changing in comparison to the treatment that you've done. Now the charts can be line charts. You can change the colors. You can change the x-axis and the y-axis titles. You can enter in legends if you want. So you have many options when it comes to these charts. And then when you get to the final report, you can look at the revert image, look at the average signal for all of these between your different treatments. And then also you can see your housekeeping protein down here at the bottom, along with the tables and the charts. And so if your housekeeping protein is not changed due to your treatment, you can give it all the way up to 5 stars. But if you see that it is changing somewhat due to treatment, you can give it any of the other stars on here. If you would like a report on this, if you want a PDF, you just click on PDF Reports and give that a name and save it to whatever location that you want. And if you want to use this analysis on another computer, you can export this as an experimental file. Thank you.